What's up guys, Country Boy here from Team Yeti Gaming, bringing you another Smite how-to guide. Now in today's video we're going to be looking at the Mine Mountain of Madness Cabrakan. Now if this is your first video with me, I give you my personal build. We do a quick overview of his abilities, and we do a how to play along with any tips that I can actually think of to give you along the way. Now before we get started, Cabrakan can be played as a burst damage guardian or really tanky. I like his burst damage with a few tank items, but it's ultimately left up to you and how you want to play him. So I actually start off with Swift Wing, T1 boots, a mana chalice, and a few healing potions. You don't see a lot of people building into Swift Wing, but the amount of time it saves you getting back to the lane without using your first ability for the speed boost, it's a very good pickup. Next is my core items. Now we finish off the T1 boots, and I like to build Shoes of the Mad Guy for the penetration. Then Polynomicon, Soul Reaver, and Void Stone. Now the last two items depends on how the game is going, and if you need any special items like Wing Blade or Magi's Blessing. Now if you don't need any of those items, here's a few other ones that you could actually pick up. Hide of the Urchin, Mystical Mail, Stoner Guy, Mantle of Discord, Hide of the Nemean Lion, and if you wanted to be really aggravating, you can actually go Gem of Isolation. Now if you want a slightly tanky team-based item, you can actually pick up Sovereignty and Heartward Amulet as your last two items, and those are good team-based defensive items. Relics, we go with Blink, Shell, Weaken and Curse, and Beads, and occasionally Thorns if I go with Hide of the Nemean Lion. Now that we have the build, let's go over his abilities real quick. Now Cabrakan has two passives. His first is a buff. His self and nearby allies take 5% reduced damage, and the second passive will be easier to explain when we go over his second ability. Now his first ability is also a buff. It's a 70% increased attack speed, movement speed increase, immune to slow and roots, and the next successful basic attack stuns for 1 second. That's pretty OP if you ask me. Now his second ability is a ground target / a stun. Now this is where his second passive plays a role. Now each time that Cabrakan takes damage, his shield gains a max stack of 5, and he gains protections for each stack. Now when you use his second ability, he slams his shield together, dealing damage, and if the shield has 5 stacks, that god is stunned and the stacks are removed. That's pretty OP too. Now his third ability is an AoE. He slams the ground and enemies around him takes damage and are slowly pulled towards him. This ability can only be channeled for 10 seconds. Now a quick tip on this, as you can see in this game, it's hard for me to use my third ability because of the stun from the Aphrodite and the Ganesha's silence. It stops my tremors before I can really do any type of damage. Now when you're playing against gods like that, you want to try to wait for them to use their abilities before you actually go in and use your tremors so they don't cancel it. Now his ult is a ground target that does damage and creates a wall that traps the enemy. Now this wall can be broken by 3 basic attacks. Now that was actually a quick look at his abilities, so let's go over how to play. First, you actually want to level up his second ability first because it does more damage. Then his first ability, and then his third, while alternating between your ultimate through each one. Now his ability combo, you want to activate your 1, run, and stun your enemy. While you hit, you should draw minion aggro. Now if you draw the minion aggro, it should fill up your second passive to the 5 stacks pretty quick. Then you want to use your second ability for yet another stun. Then use your 3 to try to get as much damage